Welcome to the Big Match Revisited, a trip back in time to see how football was televised in the 1970s, when Liverpool were the dominant force, but there were household names on the pitch and on the touchline up and down the country. This edition is from early October 1976. Settle down for some football nostalgia in the company of host and commentator Brian Moore.
Welcome again to the Big Match. Well, those joyous scenes of last weekend surrounding Fulham and George Best that you've just seen again were transformed to scenes of misery yesterday, because yesterday this happened. George Best sent off in Fulham's match at Southampton, and on the programme today you'll see the incident that sparked off these headlines in your newspapers this morning. And here in the studio, the Fulham manager Alec to give his view on the latest twist in the career of George Best. So, Southampton against Fulham, that comes up later in the programme. So too do the goals from the First Division clash between Leeds United and Manchester United. But our main match today is from the Third Division, as the two top challengers, Brighton and Crystal Palace, clashed at the Goldstone Ground in Brighton. And from that game, the two young managers have already made quite an impact on the game. Alan Mullery of Brighton, Terry Venables of Crystal Palace. So, the introductions are over. Let's go off to the Sussex coast, to Brighton, on a cold, wet and blustery day, but also a day that brought out the crowds, though some preferred a view from the warmth of their own homes. But a 27,000 crowd, and where else in the world would you have that sort of appeal for a Third Division match? The atmosphere was almost a cup-tie atmosphere then, as we first take a check on the two teams for this important Third Division game. First, Brighton and Hove Albion. Here's how they line up. Grummett in goal. A back four of Tyler, Rollings, Cross and Wilson. In the middle, Horton, Burnett, who's come in for the injured Peter O'Sullivan, and Piper. And up front, Fell, Mellor and Ward, with Catlin the substitute. But the leading light in Brighton at the moment is their young striker, Peter Ward. 5 goals in the last 3 games, and he'll be quite a danger to this Crystal Palace side, who line up like this, with Hammond in goal, a back four of Wall, Jump, Evans and Sampson. In the middle, Cannon, Chatterton and Hinchelwood, and then up front, Perrin, Swindlehurst and Silkman, with their substitute Phil Holder. And with Peter Taylor having gone this week to Tottenham for £200,000, it's Barry Silkman, here he is, a free transfer man from Hereford United, who takes his place. The referee today is Mr. Ray Lewis from Surrey. He's in the middle there, and now the crowd can settle down for the start.
So Brighton kick off in the stripes, attacking the goal to our left, and they are in the blue and white stripes against Crystal Palace, who are in a white strip with that diagonal red and blue stripe. Here's Peter Ward for Brighton. My goodness, he was just a foot too high and giving a warning straight away there to Crystal Palace. They gave him a yard or two, and he got that well onto his right foot from some 28 yards. And it was just too high. So now it's with Silkman. Knocked it again there towards Perrin, but Piper to Wilson. Wilson with the long clearance now to Mallow. Piper with the throw for Brighton to Ward. Oh, he's gone past Ward again. A bit of tumble there. Oh, and a shot by Piper that somehow Hammond just got a hand to turn it behind for the corner. Ward causing a lot of trouble again there for that Crystal Palace defence. And when he faltered, Piper was there, and the shot was turned away by Hammond. So it's Horton with the corner for Brighton. Played short to Wilson. Horton again hit in first time this time. And header allowed by Hammond to go behind from Andy Williams. Brighton kicks, and it really is quite a fierce wind coming off the sea now. Hinchelwood being chased by Wilson. Goal kick. Paul Hinchelwood, brother of Martin Hinchelwood. In fact, he's taken Martin's place in the side. turning it on. Ward, has he got the acceleration? Well, he accelerated all right, but Hammond spotted that danger in a twinkling. And as Miller put Ward through, Hammond was out very well indeed to smother it. Free kick to Brighton. Not taken from the right place. The long one forward towards Peter Ward. Good bit of control there on his thigh. Jump, wanting to bite at him, but knows he better not. Nice little pass now for Burnett. Oh, and hit it straight at Hammond. And Hammond had to grab that quickly at the second attempt. As Peter Ward went racing in. Good shot from Burnett. A bit of a fumble by Hammond, but he gathered it quickly enough before Ward could get the devastating touch. Sanson's long free kick. Wilson didn't get it away. Chatterton with the shot. He took a chip. When a drive might have been better. It was just that tiny error by Wilson. Chatterton was on it. And the chip went straight to Gromit. Horton. Tyler. Fell. Horton again. Miller. Fair-looking ball as well, picking up Wilson, linking him up with the attack now. They've got 4 up front, Brighton. Oh, but that was just a little too close to Peter Wall. Here's Chatterton. He's got Cannon alongside him, but Horton was there and he stumbled and let Jim Cannon go on. Away on the left is Barry Silkman. A touch there for Cannon to try a shot. Scottish defender coming in, linking in well again. The shot always going just a little too high. And the crowd now getting behind Harry Wilson as he goes forward. That ball caught on the wind again. Piper's header now, down for Miller. Touch for Ward, back for Miller. Nicely played. Oh, and a good save by Hammond from Miller. And Cannon in the end getting it away. Lovely combination there for Brighton between Ward and Miller. A 1-2 that came back to Miller, a little bit of acceleration, a good shot. Hammond well off his line to parry it though. Here's Ward. Wilson hoisting a long high one to the far side towards Fell and towards Miller. Goal kick. With the header. Wilson. Back to Gromit. Piper. Horton. Nicely directed header there by Brian Horton to Dennis Burnett. Finding a bit of pace there to go past Chatterton. Here's Fell. There's the cross again towards Miller. And it'll come now for Piper to try a shot, and a great save that time by Hammond. Miller got up, and in the end it was knocked back. Tremendous shot there by Piper, but a very, very good save indeed again by Hammond. So Horton with the corner again for Brighton. And Hammond using his fist well. Burnett trying to return it. Cannon got in the way that time. Miller back over his head. More problems there for Hammond, and he dealt with them well. Piper with a throw. Ward. Now Wall. Now for Hedgelwood. Silkman in a lot of space over on that left touchline. Swindlehurst waiting in the middle. So too is Perrin. There's Swindlehurst going for the header. Perrin right in there, and he very nearly forced an error out of Harry Wilson there. But now it's Horton to bring it up for Brighton. Fell on the far side. Well, he's got it back to Ward. Oh, and Ward hit the outside of the post. Well, Fell got that back in somehow. Ward reacted to it quicker than anybody else. And turned with a powerful shot. But it's a goal kick. As the whistle goes there for half-time, in fact it's about 45 seconds early, but a goalless first half played in a really blustery conditions. Probably Brighton have had the better of things. Miller and Ward always looking dangerous. Cross looking very secure for them at the back, and Hammond doing extremely well in that Crystal Palace goal, making a couple of really excellent saves. So the battle at the top of the third division unresolved here at the moment, with a half-time score at the Goldstone ground, reading Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Crystal Palace 0. We'll be right back with the second half. So welcome back to Sussex by the Sea, the start of the second half of this vital third division match. 0-0 between Brighton and Crystal Palace. Ian Evans for Palace. Brighton, in fact, did the double over Palace last season. 1-0 at Selhurst Park, 2-0 here at the Goldstone ground. Here's Steve Perrin. Sheridan coming in fast. Swindlehurst there. Oh, and he's almost dispossessed him. And Cannon with the shot! 1-0 to Palace, Jim Cannon. Well, they made life hard for themselves, Brighton, on the edge of their own area. They were dispossessed, and the ball was slotted gently into the path of Jim Cannon. Up he came, right foot, whack, 1-0. Brighton 0, Palace 1. And now here's Phil for Brighton. Well, that's a brilliant start to the second half, inside the first minute. After a relatively unattractive first half, Palace really have put the cat amongst the pigeons. Here's Horton. No foul. Cannon, the man who did the damage. His first goal of the season, in fact, for Palace. Here he is again. Perrin. Oh, that'll fall for Ward. Onto the left foot. Oh, and Hammond had to come out quickly as Miller came in. In fact, there was an infringement there inside that Palace penalty area. Good jump by Rollings. Horton. Tyler to Ward. Wilson. Well, an obstruction there by Chatterton. I don't think he can argue with that. Seemed a good decision to me. Free kick. And here's Wilson for Brighton. The little chip coming in again. Ward's header. Oh, pushed into his own net, surely, by Sampson. Under pressure from Fell. Brighton want to give it to Jerry Fell. But as that one came across there from Wilson, Hammond got a hand to it, couldn't stop it completely, and it finished up in the back of the net. Brighton 1, Palace 1. 2 goals in the first 8 minutes of the second half. And now Jump turning it back. So now Burnett hitting Ward in the back. And now Hinchell. And now Silkman. And now Sanson. Oh, and very nearly a header in there for Perrin. Beautiful run by the young fullback. And a good cross from the byline. Perrin, the number 9, up well, but not quite well enough. Now Ward. Fell with the cross. Horton's header. Oh, and Hammond had to go diving down. Nice cross there by Fell. And Horton was a yard or 2 inside the box there. Got a good downward header in. Well, he's down on the bench now. He finds it hard to control himself, I think, in the last quarter of an hour or so up in the director's box. So Alan Mullery is in one of them. And his great friend Terry Venables. They were roommates when they were at Tottenham in the other one. And now Perrin away. Cross going with him. No bother at all for him. Well, as they say, play swung from end to end. And that's just what it's doing now as Wilson takes it up again for Brighton. Miller. Again that delicate turn. Again that cross. Sampson forced to concede the corner because Jerry Fell was behind. Fell now with that corner for Brighton. Curling in towards Horton. Not away yet. Rollins is right up there and kicked off the line by Peter Wall. Oh, Rollins was right up there as that ball came in and nodded it down without a great deal of power. Hammond couldn't really see it. As well for Palace that Peter Wall did. And Piper with the shot. Charged down again by young Sanson. Oh, Holder gave it away there. Just making life difficult for themselves. Burnett. Well, they're making it difficult for themselves as well. As Chatterton sends a beautiful ball now for Swindlehurst on his way. Grummett backing off, and nobody was up with him, and Rollins had to give away that corner. Tremendous ball, though, by Nicky Chatterton. Beautifully swerving there into the path of David Swindlehurst. So, corner to Palace. Ian Evans coming up again for it. Peter Wall's coming up as well. Well, will Palace snatch a dramatic victory after being on the receiving end for so long in this second half? There's Evans with a header. But he didn't get the real touch that he wanted. And so it's a goal kick. My watch, just over a minute to go. Now Ward. Still Ward. Well, he had the shot charged down right at the end there. That could have been dangerous, though. Sanson putting it where he knows it's safe. Referee checking with both linesmen that the time is up, and he's looking at the watch himself. Ward given very little room, but he's trying to make something for himself on the edge of that area. Phil Holder jumping all over him and then belting the ball away where he knows it's safe, and also where it may go for Swindlehurst. Maybe Palace can do something. A tremendous shot by Swindlehurst and a good save. Oh, that was Holder's fine clearance. Swindlehurst bounding after it. The angle was difficult, but his shot was an excellent one, matched by the saving of Grummett. Palace's corner. Referee again looking at his watch. Chatterton with it. Hit a bit lower this time. It'll come out as far as Ken Sampson. Surely he'll play it wide for Chatterton, and indeed he does. Well into injury time now. Chatterton with that cross again, and Rollings getting it away. Tyler getting it away. Jump reacting a little quicker than Ward on that occasion. Palace a matter of seconds away from a point. All the long ball forward, and Sanson going after it, but Brummett covering it well. Again, the referee looks, in fact, at 2 watches this time. And the long legs of Evans, who's had a storming game at the back for Palace, and it's all over. A point apiece. A good performance by referee Lewis. And Palace will be happy with that point. A goal by Jim Cannon putting them into the lead within a minute of the start of the second half. Paul Hammond having made some excellent saves in the first half and was called upon to make some more in the second. He half saved the shot that brought the equaliser. Now, whether it was an own goal by Sanson or one by Fell, that is what the clubs themselves and the players must decide. But one thing that we are absolutely sure about, there's Jim Cannon who scored the Palace goal. One thing we can be absolutely sure about is the final scoreline here at the Goldstone Ground in Brighton, which reads Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 1.
In fact, it was an own goal, as you'll see, but the loss of a point means that Brighton lose their place at the top of the 3rd division. They now lie second behind Shrewsbury with Palace in 9th place. But now let's meet those 2 young managers, Alan Mullery of Brighton, Terry Venables of Palace. The weekend started well for you, Alan, Manager of the Month after just 2 months active service in the game, the Bell's Whisky Award, which was tremendous. But in fact, the game didn't quite live up to all the publicity, did it?
Not really, Brian, no. 27,000 people, which was a super crowd, a great crowd of people come down to see the game, and as a spectacle, it never really got started. The goalkeeper made some crucial saves in the first half, and we needed to score to get the crowd alight, really. But they didn't really get involved at all, because they never really had a great deal to cheer about.
In fact, Paul Hammond did well for you, Terry, didn't he?
I thought we started off and they had 1 or 2 chances, and they started off very brightly, and we hadn't come across the boy Ward before. First half I thought he was a constant danger, but as the game went on, I thought once they knew what he was about, I thought our lads dealt with him very well. Yeah. And the longer it went on, I thought possibly we'd have won it.
Yeah. I thought Big Ian Miller looked a big danger to you in the first half as well.
Well, he's a big boy, isn't he? No, I thought he played exceptionally well in the first 20 minutes. He's deceptive. He turns very sharp for such a big guy and keeps the ball very close to him. But again, I thought we dealt with him well in the second half. I don't think he showed so much.
Well, you had a brilliant start to the second half with your goal coming, I think, within the first minute.
That's right.
At the start of the second half. Jim Cannon, let's have a look at this one now. Tell us about this, Terry.
Stevie Perrin picks it up there and runs with it, goes towards the end, knocks an early ball in on the far side. They get a chance, actually, at Brighton to get it away. It goes to the central defender there, but David Swindlehurst closes him down very fast and just pokes it in there to Jim Cannon, who on his birthday celebrates with a neat goal.
A bit annoying that for you, Alan, really, because you did have those chances to get it away, didn't you?
Basically, Brian, looking at it on quickly yesterday and looking at it again today on television, it seemed to get stuck under Harry Wilson's feet. I think if he'd have had the chance to come on and off it away, then he would have got rid of it. But it got stuck underneath his foot, and as Terry said, the lad got in very quickly and got the ball away from him, and that was the finish of it. The lad finished it off well.
But you got back into it relatively quickly with your goal. And again, Peter Ward played a very important part in this, didn't he?
Yes, really? He did, yeah. There's a short, quick free kick from Dennis Burnett to Harry Wilson. He chips a beautiful ball into the near post where Peter Ward's on his bike, and he gets a slight touch, and it goes it goes to the goalkeeper's left-hand side very quickly, and the boy Sanson can't really get out of the way of it on his way in. I think if he'd have missed it, Jerry Fell would have still scored.
Great apprenticeship you've both had, really. I mean, you've played and worked under great managers. Terry under Bill Nicholson, of course, at Tottenham, for example, and indeed with Malcolm at Crystal Palace, and Alan with Bill Nicholson, and with our other guest today here, Alec Stock at Fulham. That must stand you in very good stead, I would think, the pair of you, mustn't it?
Yeah, obviously. But then again, everybody else serves under many managers. It's still up to you in the end to deal with the situations yourself.
Something to serve under good managers, though, surely.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're successful, that's a cert. You know, you've got to learn from the things. I mean, the gaffer here, when I was under him, you know, he took a second division side to Wembley, so you've got to learn the good things about it.
Yeah, but surely you still learn just as much from mistakes, and I think most people observe that. And players that are now under myself and Alan will learn the same from us, good things and bad things alike.
Yeah.
Let's hope we don't make too many mistakes. That's the thing, you know, as everybody does. You know, well, let's hope we don't make big ones.
Everybody keeps talking about sort of looking for pioneers in the game to give it a fresh impetus with some good attacking and entertaining football. Are you the sort of forerunners of that, do you see? Do you see yourself in that line?
I think there's a spate now of young managers in the game, isn't there? You know, Alec Stock and Terry and I. Well, there is a spate of young managers who basically, new tactics, new training methods, everything that comes into it now, perhaps it may, I'm not saying revolutionise the game, but it may be good for the game.
Yeah. Do you find any fear or are you worried about Saturdays coming around?
No, not at all. I've got a great confidence in all the setup we've got at our club, and I think in the end it'll come right by doing the right things. We had a little setback earlier, we lost 3 games, but we all believed it was just a setback for the time being and we'd get over it, which I think we have done.
I think on both our parts, and any manager that goes in a game, as Alec would say, you've got to have confidence in your own ability, and you've got to, you know, all times play on this part. If you ever have doubts about your confidence, then you've got problems, haven't you?
Can I just say one little thing? Dissent is the big story of the week with the George Best affair. You weren't there, so and neither was I. But what is your view, Terry, first of all, very briefly on dissent?
Well, obviously we know it's you know, they shouldn't show dissent, players, but I feel there's worse things than that. It depends on the man management of the referee. The referee, if they can take it, and if it's said between the two, nobody knows about it anyway unless he makes a big fuss of it. If a player is throwing his arms about, and I think in that case, yeah. But in the main, I think swearing is something that goes on between men when they're on their own, and I think referees in the main act on it worse because it's personal, because it's directed at them, which, you know, they don't like. Some men can take it and some can't.
Very quick word, Alan, on that.
No, I'm inclined to agree with everything Terry said, Brian. The only thing is I don't like my players getting done for dissent because the total just mounts and mounts and mounts, and in the end, if you've got 100 points, you have to go and see the Football League about it, which is a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I've got posh in here.
Nice to see you both happy after that battle yesterday, and a point apiece. Thanks for coming in today, Terry Venables and Alan Mullery. Well, for our second match, we call him briefly at Ellen Road, where for years teams have gone knowing that they're going to get a hard old game and a pretty exhausting one too, and not much else. Well, it seems times are changing. Leeds have won only one First Division match this season, and when they met Manchester United yesterday, the game was covered by Yorkshire Television. Commentator Nigel King with Leeds in white.
Towards Clark, off Clark's head. Very young team, Manchester United now, but obviously an asset to have the experience of Stepney at the back. That was Houston for McElroy, picked up by Macari. McElroy again. Out for Coppell. McElroy in the middle. Pearson at the far post. It's McQueen's head, and that shot from Daly. The shot from Daly puts Manchester United straight into the lead, and that really is the one thing that Leeds could have done without, an early goal. A beautiful cross in from that wing, back out again to the foot of Daly, and straight into the back of the net. Clark is ahead. It's Frankfurt. Straight through to Houston. Kill now with McElroy alongside him. McElroy's on his left. Pearson's in the middle. Taking it through on his own. McQueen's going to be too late. It's McElroy. Pearson's at the far post. And very quickly, and that's there again. And that was number 7, young Coppell. Coppell was standing there. Pearson was waiting. But it was Coppell who got the ball and had very, very little trouble indeed in beating David Harvey to pop it straight into the net. And that spells more trouble for Leeds. Pearson rather on his own, Hunter in attendance. Pearson's knee doesn't look too bad there. Macari now. Not a bad one for Gray to pick up. Now here come Leeds United. Tony Curry is in the middle. Alan Clark is on the left wing. Joe Jordan is on the right. Jordan who gets it. Build up a little too slow because those United defenders funneling back Jordan's head. And once again, and Stepney a bit lucky to get that. And that's a corner. Well, there can't be very long now to half-time. And United beginning to put one or two passes together, looking a little sharper, and a goal just before half-time would perhaps be the tonic that they need to take to the dressing room.
And that victory puts Manchester United on top of the First Division, and that defeat leaves Leeds 4 off the bottom. But now it's time for your letters, and the first one today comes from Melvin Cherry of the Walk in Potters Bar in Hertfordshire, who spotted a curious thing in last week's match between Fulham and Hereford, where the Fulham goalkeeper, Peter Mellor, started to use one jersey there, as you saw, with some stripes down it, and then quickly he seemed to have got one without stripes at all. Well, of course, our editors use close-ups like that to help them to chop very expertly 90 minutes of football down to 30 minutes or so for you to enjoy on a Sunday afternoon. But what you didn't see, of course, is between those two shots this happened. Ron Woolnough, the Fulham physiotherapist, brought on another jersey for Peter Mellor to put on. As the referee, Alan Robinson, said on the day, Mellor's jersey did not conform with Football League regulations, which say that goalkeepers must wear plain jerseys. You may remember the story after England's recent game with the Republic of Ireland at Wembley that Arsenal's Liam Brady lost his Irish shirt, and he was a bit upset about that. So we went to the manufacturers in Dublin and got another one for Liam so that he should remember that tremendous Irish performance on the night. There it is with the badge and, of course, the number 6 shirt that Liam wore to such good effect on that night. And on the subject of shirts, I've got a letter here from Mrs. Hunt, Mrs. G. Hunt of 40 Danehurst Street in Fulham, SW6. And what about this? She tells me her father, Watty White, played for Scotland in the 1908 match against England, and this is the shirt, SVE 1908. She tells me, incidentally, that it's not been washed since 1908. What about the colours? Not the famous royal blue or the dark blue, but pink and yellow. Incidentally, Watty White played for Bolton, he played for Fulham, and he played for Everton and well. Incidentally, this is the cap that he also won, playing for Scotland on that famous day nearly 70 years ago. Incidentally, Mrs. Hunt also tells me that her father had a testimonial match during his career from which he made the princely sum of £28.06. No doubt Arsenal's Peter Simpson will be hoping to do a little better than that when he has a testimonial match. Arsenal against Spurs to be played at Highbury next Saturday afternoon, when so many First Division games are off, because, of course, players will be joining Don Revie for World Cup preparations. The Peter Simpson match next Saturday at Highbury. Quick mention, too, of a former Arsenal favourite, Terry Mancini, now starting a new part of his career with 4th Division Aldershot. He played his first game yesterday at Darlington. Aldershot lost 2-1. I wonder what difference he finds in the 4th.
Surprisingly little, actually. You know, obviously, apart from the crowds and the grounds, the atmosphere and that, but I've been very surprised in the 2 games I've played in, the amount of football being played. It's marvellous. You know, they knocked the ball about. Darlington, the same as Swansea last week, play a lot of good football.
Very well. Anyway, it's nice to see you playing once again. Let's hope a lot of the viewers from the big match will come down to Aldershot and see you in action.
I should hope so.
See you still playing as well as ever.
Gardam, get your mob down here. We'll get down to Aldershot and have a look at us.
We shall see, we shall see. Now it's the 3rd match, though. Let's have some more action. And we come to the sensations at Southampton, where George Best has made all the wrong sort of headlines this weekend by being sent off. Well, now you can see it for yourselves as we bring you Southampton against Fulham, covered by Southern Television. Commentator Martin Tyler. Fulham are in the white shirts.
McDougall going with Howe, and this is Leslie Strong. Deflected away for a throw to Fulham. Rodney Marsh coming over to get involved in the action, leaving it for Evanson, the familiar figure of Bobby Moore. Now Blythe. With a win to their name in league football, Southampton. And there's Osgood setting Peach forward. David Peach playing in midfield, and Jim Steele here at left back. Peach again. Osgood and Shannon waiting in the middle, and McDougall! Jubilation from the new signing, and that's what he's been bought to do. The build-up down the left-hand side. The ball reaching David Peach. An accurate cross, and McDougall towards the near post, unmarked, getting in a perfect header. And Southampton go in front in the second minute. Bullivant. Mitchell forever chasing willingly. Of the crowd urging him to quicken the tempo up. And more bundling Stokes off the ball. Bobby Moore not at all happy with that decision. And Blythe's made an early run forward. Will it come to Mel Blythe? It will! For Southampton. And it looks to me as though we've got a sensation on the far side. Bobby Moore had been in trouble with the referee. He'd been talking to him several times throughout the game. Mr. Shapter has been speaking to the players. He's pointing to the far side. He produced what looked like a card from his pocket. George Best looks as though he's the man in trouble. George Best is continuing his walk towards this side of the field. Bobby Campbell is over on the touchline talking to him, and that really is one of the saddest sights that you could see on the ground today. Alan Slough is talking to Bobby Campbell. George Best is coming off the field. There's no doubt about it, he has been sent off. A Fulham kick-off, and that sums up what Rodney Marsh thinks about it. Just toe-end it forward. The Fulham players weren't happy about the award of the free kick. It didn't look as though they were happy about the way that it was taken. As Shannon breaks forward again, and it looked very much as though all the dissent, all the problem came after Mel Blythe had headed Southampton into a 2-0 lead. The referee spoke to several players. The header from McDougall. And Laurie McMenemy down in front of me is brushing away photographers who are trying to take pictures of the dugout. But the game goes on. Fulham trail by 2-0. They're down to 10 men. The boos go up for Rodney Marsh. Going on, and it's tapped into the net by Mitchell, and it's 2-1, and now it's Southampton's turn to protest. Well, certainly Marsh was pushing people out of his way, and one can only think that the Southampton players perhaps had some cause for complaint. So another free kick. And Blythe, his appetite whetted, has gone forward again. Peach will take it. And Blythe is in there! Well, it's all happening for Mel Blythe. It's all really fallen apart for Fulham. Moore in with another another free kick. Howe with another header. This time behind. Osgood. Getting it back from Shannon. Well, it's going to take a great deal of resolve for Fulham to keep their composure now. In for McDougall, is it 4? No! And the Southampton defence, the Fulham defence rather, all over the place as Osgood found his man. McDougall had a really intelligent run, then on his left foot pulling it wide. Peach and Southampton sensing now they really can run riot. Osgood for Peach again, back for Osgood. Slough struggling to get there. Just toe-ended. Stokes back for Shannon. Strong. Marsh is still down. Mitchell. Down he goes. The trainer, Ron Woolnough, comes on for Rodney Marsh. John Mitchell is hurt as well. Bobby Campbell has come onto the field. As the substitution takes place, Tyrone James comes on. Rodney Marsh, who's already gone off. Shannon. McDougall is onside. Ted McDougall in with a great chance for number 4, and there it is. With the offside trap all afternoon, but with Fulham now losing their organisation at the back, Mike Shannon set him free. McDougall, a man you really fancy in such a situation, and as Mellor came out, he tucked it away, 4-1.
Now here's the Fulham manager, Alec Stock. Alec, today do you feel sorry for George Best? Are you angry? What has happened?
Quite frankly, if you put those two as a straight question, I feel quite sorry today.
Why?
Well, I saw things yesterday happening on a football field that I very much didn't like. Let's take it from the word go that Southampton deserved to win. We weren't exactly at our best, but there were things happening that, you know, curled my stomach up a bit.
What sort of things are they?
Well, I saw tackling going on that I didn't like at all. And you have to decide which is the worst of all the evils. Whether it's violent tackling that is disregarded, and you've got it on film, so show it to the world, by all means, or whether it's dissent.
Some Southampton tackling you're talking about there, are you? That we've seen?
My fellows had their names taken for tackling. No Southampton player had his name taken at all.
So when you talk about priorities, you say it's either the violence in terms of tackling or violence of the tongue you're talking about, are you?
Well, you have to decide which is worse.
Which do you think is the worst offence, then?
Well, God almighty, physical violence is the worst to start with, isn't it? Must be.
But you can't condone dissent, Alec.
I don't condone it at all. I mean, I have a player sent off. And until I get in the office tomorrow and chat about it, I'm a spectator, isn't it? I was a spectator of the match, sitting in the grandstand when it all happened. I know roughly what happened. And we should discuss it. We're Fulham. Damn me, it's only a fortnight ago we had the letter down from the FA said we're the best behaved side in England all our share. OK? If you can tell me anybody in Fulham that tackles violently, kicks, scratches a bite, point him out to me. We've never had one.
What was your skipper Alan Slough saying to the referee during that incident?
Well, if there have been some foul language used, and quite frankly, once again, by two very violent people on the Southampton side.
What, violence of the tongue you're talking about?
Yeah. So he is quietly saying there, if you send one fellow off for abusive language, there are about 6 of them should go. Send them all off. And that's what it was all about.
In fact, the incident that led up to it, it looked a fairly innocuous tackle by Bobby Moore, which we can see again on the far side.
Innocuous tackle, Brian, was it? Take a good look at it, show it again.
Let's do that now, Alec,
quite frankly, it wasn't even a tackle.
Well, here we go now. Bobby Moore.
And this is the turning point of the game, isn't it? Look at it. Look.
And that was a foul by Bobby Moore.
And that is the turning point of the game, and that's what caused all the trouble. OK?
I think we feel like vultures sometimes. We praise George Best, and he had a marvellous game that thrilled everybody last week. And today, here we are. We're down on him. He's been sent off.
I'm not. I'm not.
But what do you think the view maybe of the Football League will be now, who've got to consider George Best at the end of this year?
Oh, I think there's 1 or 2 people who'd love to come for their pound of flesh, waiting for it. Here's a fella that fills football grounds, does beautiful things, but you've still got a few people waiting on the sidelines to hit, and they'll love it.
That is a terrible sight, Alec.
Very sad, though. This is worse, too, because I've never seen that on the side of mine at all.
So George Best goes off, and I think we all feel very sorry about it today, Alec, and let's hope that the priorities do get right, that violence in terms of tackling is punished just as much as violence of the tongue as well. Alec Stock, thank you very much for coming in today. And that's it. And after rejoicing in the skills and good humour of Fulham and George Best last weekend, this latest incident really brings the ups and downs of football into very sharp focus indeed. 1 week it's smiles and triumph, and the next it's utter misery.